Ahsoka Episode 3 is out, and in this video I'm going to deep dive into all the Easter eggs, expanded universe connections, give my analysis and review, and speculate about what's to come. The episode starts with a return to Sabine's Jedi training. Huyang takes her through the forms, and the results are dismally average. Ahsoka suggests trying something called Zatoichi, which I believe is implied to be the name of the training technique that Obi-Wan Kenobi used with Luke in A New Hope.
With the blast shield down, I can't even see. How am I supposed to fight?
Can't see, how am I supposed to fight?
In Zatoichi, the trainee must wear something to obscure their vision. The point of the exercise is to help the trainee see with the Force what their vision cannot.
I want you to see with more than just your eyes.
This is a training method that Luke used in A New Hope, and was used perpetually by blind Jedi such as Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels and Rom Koda from the Force Unleashed video game. It is also shown in a flashback involving Luke and Leia in The Rise of Skywalker, which I think we can all agree is neck and neck with The Last Jedi for the worst Star Wars movie of all time. Sabine gives Zatoichi her best, but is clearly still failing. Back aboard Home 1, Hera attempts to get Ahsoka New Republic support from the Senate Council. Mon Mothma seems to be open to her request, but the others led by Senator Giono don't seem much interested. Their main attack against Hera is that she would use the New Republic assets to find Ezra, and that's what this is really about for her. Senator Giono is also the father of Kazuto's Giono from quite possibly the worst Star Wars TV show of all time, Star Wars Resistance. I also get the feeling here that Giono is Dave Filoni's substitute for Borsk Fey'lya, the Bothan senator from the expanded universe who was stubborn to the bone and while loyal to the New Republic always found himself on the opposite side of Mon Mothma and Leia in almost all political matters. Fey'lya was usually more concerned with his and the Bothan people's status and power than he was about what was best for the New Republic. He was also one of the central characters during the Thrawn trilogy and was on the Provisional Council, which sounds a lot like the Senate Council. Giono appears to be the B-movie version of Borsk Fey'lya. They ultimately brush Hera off and she leaves empty-handed. Upon her exit, she's approached by her son, Jason, who wants to be a Jedi. As I said in a previous video, it's not that two characters in Star Wars can't have the same name. In fact, during the prequels we saw two individuals named Bail from Alderaan, Bail Antilles and Bail Organa. However, in this case, I unequivocally despise the choice to name Hera and Kanan's son Jason. My main reason is that Han and Leia's son is named Jason. However, Disney decided against including that amazing character from the expanded universe, and instead Han and Leia's Disney prince is the whiny, annoying, and obnoxious Kylo Ren, as seen in the less than enjoyable sequel trilogy. Not only that, but the timing of his inclusion is also suspect. Han and Leia's twins, Jason and Jaina, were born during the Thrawn trilogy, and as I've pointed out, Dave is substituting a lot of ideas from those amazing books. I'm going to make a prediction that in Ahsoka Season 1, or another future New Republic Disney Star Wars project, some character, probably Baylan since he seems to be based off of Jorah Sabayoth, is going to try to kidnap Jason Syndulla and train him as a Dark Jedi or Sith or something. Just to be clear, I don't dislike the idea of Hera having a son, I don't have anything bad to say about the kid playing him, and I don't think that two characters can't have the same first name, but I do not like the choice to name Hera's son Jason, featuring him at this time in this story, all the while pretending that Jason Solo doesn't exist. It's disrespectful to the character, to the authors who made that character amazing, and to the fans who have invested far more time and money into that character than Dave Filoni spent thinking about how he could cannibalize the name. Moving on, Ahsoka and Sabine have a long-winded conversation about Sabine's training. Aside from the fact that this conversation took way too long, it did give a satisfying answer to a question that people have debated for years. Can anyone become a Jedi? Here's the brief history of the answer to that question. In 1983, after Return of the Jedi came out, it was understood that anyone could become a Jedi, but aptitude for the Force is stronger in some than others, and that the Skywalker family has a unique connection with the Force. Fast forward a few years to the prequels, where the concept of midichlorians were introduced, which shook up a lot of people's ideas centered around this question. Now I know midichlorians are a controversial topic among Star Wars fans, however I'd encourage every Star Wars fan to read the expanded universe novel Darth Plagueis by James Luceno and see how you feel about it afterwards. Luceno explains the phenomenon a lot more eloquently than the prequels did and makes their inclusion in the lore much more enjoyable. Regardless, in the Star Wars lore it's long been established that the higher the midichlorian count, or M count for short, that a being has, the stronger with the Force that they are. It's also been established that this can change over time. In this scene, Ahsoka says effectively that everyone has a connection with the Force, therefore all beings have access to it. And even though talent or M count might be a factor, what stops most people, even those with talent, from being able to access the Force is focus, discipline, and training, something that not everyone can handle. This is an answer that I really like actually. It's a good balance between the spiritual and the scientific, which is at the very center of Star Wars. Just like with most skills in the real world, all people start from different levels of talent, some with lots and some with none. Some people have to work harder than others, but at the end of the day, everyone can achieve whatever they set their mind to, even if they have to climb a mountain to get there. After Sabine fails to move a cup, they come out of hyperspace to Cetos, where they get ambushed by Shin, Marok, and some red shirts.
Ah, crap.
Ahsoka's ship is damaged and she goes out in a spacesuit and does some low-G gymnastics while Sabine makes repairs. They discover the massive hyperspace ring named the Eye of Sion, which Huyang later says is still under construction and capable of a hyperspace jump to another galaxy, and that intergalactic hyperspace lanes are part of the migration pass of Purgil, which appear afterwards on Cetos as Ahsoka and Sabine evade the enemy fighters. Ahsoka and Sabine land, evading Shin and Marok. There's been a lot of theories about who Marok is. What seems apparent based on the lightsaber design and the outfit is that Marok is a former Inquisitor. I'll lay out here what a few of those theories are. The top theories are that Marok is Barriss Offee, Starkiller, Cal Kestis, Luke Skywalker's clone Luke, a new original character, and possibly even Ezra Bridger. In the credits, Paul Darnell is listed as the person who is playing Marok. Paul Darnell is best known for being a stunt double. I believe at some point in the series that the mask will come off and we'll find out who is under it, and I'm betting it's someone we've seen before. The name Marok comes from old European myths and is often used to describe werewolves. Dave Filoni is obsessed with wolves and is known for sprinkling them wherever he can. Balin's last name Skull and Shin's last name Hati are examples of names of wolves from ancient mythology. The name Marok has given rise to theories that this is a good character we've seen before, only now they're transformed into something darker. We already know Barriss fell to the dark side during the Clone Wars and would have been in the right conditions to become an Inquisitor. Starkiller, or Galen Merrick, is a character from the EU games The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Sam Witwer, who played Galen, is also credited with additional voices in all 3 episodes of Ahsoka so far. Galen's last name Merrick and Marok also sound very similar, so it's possible that they're using Paul Darnell as a body double, and when the mask comes off, we'll see Sam Witwer's face either as Galen Merrick or a new character. Cal is an unlikely possibility, but he would be about the right age, have the proper training, and has been around Inquisitors a lot. The clone of Luke Skywalker is also a possibility. In the Thrawn trilogy, Jorah Sabayoth made a clone of Luke Skywalker named Luke, using DNA from his hand which had been recovered from Bespin. In recent comics in the Disney canon, we see that Palpatine has indeed recovered Luke's hand and was using it in experiments on Exegol. Is it possible that Marok is this dark Luke Skywalker? Given the other similarities to the Thrawn trilogy that I've already noted, I wouldn't count this theory out. The last theory floated around here is that Ezra is Barack. The name would seem to indicate that this is a dark character that we did not expect to be dark. Additionally, Ezra's been missing and with Thrawn for over 9 years at this point. He could have been tortured and corrupted, or persuaded by seeing something incredibly dangerous on his journeys with Thrawn that he needed to ally with him for the greater good. His fall to the dark side would seem unlikely, however, given that he had been deeply tempted before and had chosen to turn away from the dark side. Additionally, his last act was very self-sacrificing. What I do think is unlikely is that this is just a new and unrelated character. I think the intentional decisions to cover their face with a mask and name them Marok is indicative of a returning character. Regardless, a duel between Arak and Ahsoka appears to be happening in the next episode, and I suspect they'll be unmasked then. I also suspect that this is a character that Ahsoka has met before, and that this scene is going to be very important for the show moving forward. Overall, I'd say this episode felt very underwhelming. Not much happened, and from the start of the episode to the end of the episode, all that really happened is that Ahsoka and Sabine got to Cetos. There were lots of callbacks and cameos, but not a ton of substance. This episode is the shortest of the series so far, yet still felt padded to fill the runtime. When it ended, I felt like we were only halfway through the episode. There were some neat moments, but with a show like this that's only 8 episodes long, I feel like more should be happening. I'm also starting to get annoyed by how they keep ripping off and disrespecting the expanded universe. In this episode, it wasn't as bad as the previous 2, but in every episode so far, I've pointed out multiple ways that this show takes and reduces great ideas from the EU. I have been enjoying the story with the Star Wars Rebels characters, but all of the other stuff in the series regarding Thrawn and the New Republic, I'm even more apprehensive about at the end of this episode than I was after watching episodes 1 and 2. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Star Wars Fan Animations makes fan films of expanded universe books, comics, and games. If you want to see the progress we've made on our fan films, take a look at our update videos, motion comics, trailers, and soon to be released films. We are currently about to start releasing scenes for our fan film adaptation of Shadows of the Empire. If you want to support the project, we have a Patreon, and you can join our Discord Discord for more personalized and community-based updates and conversations. Looking forward, the next episode will certainly be set on Cetos and feature rematches between Sabine and Shin, Arak and Ahsoka, where I expect Arak will be unmasked and seen to be someone that Ahsoka knows. We'll also probably see this confrontation between Baylan and Ahsoka. Hopefully by the end of the episode there's actually some movement towards Thrawn and we can see where all of this is going. If you want to see my episode 4 breakdown, review, and analysis, you can check that out right here.